Oh, sorry.
Wow! A cop limping down the street, bleeding from the shoulder, face bruised, looking like hell? You cool! That's cool!
Officer, what happened? You're limping. Why are you limping? You look terrible. Is this from the shooting in town? We heard gunshots. Not that we don't hear gunshots all the time, but they were closer than usual.
There was an exchange of fire on Rue de Saint-Guylaine.
You didn't only get shot.
So you're a killer? That's good, I guess. Better than being dead.
She just looks at you, her tea-length skirt flapping in the wind.
Well, good for you. Of course. Can I help you with something? That won't be a problem. It's wind still and the tar just dried. We've got 2 days of relative sunshine ahead. If you promise to bring it back, and no scraping the hull, I just got it nice and yellow, and no drinking on the boat, and no joyriding either.
Of course, ma'am. It's only for a day or two.
Aye. See, that makes me not want to lend you my skiff. On a boat, rocking leads to capsizing. That there is an absolutely 100% rock-free skiff. You got that? Used to be some kind of fortification there before the war. For the communards. An anti-aircraft gun, I think. Bombed to bits in the landing. I haven't been there myself. Always steered clear of it.
Hasn't been there herself. Who has then?
I'm sad to hear that. Take care of that with ether, will you?
That's cool. You boasting your bacterial infection like that.
My husband used to drink there. Him and his drinking buddies. Always seemed like a bad place to drink to me. People died there during...
This must be one of the many fortifications that was used in the dying days.
The kids sometimes go there too. I know they do, on rafts. I tell them not to, but they bring back old bullet casings and such. The twins. God forbid they bring the girl along on some rickety barge.
Can we maybe ask your twins about that?
Be my guest. They've a strange way of talking. See if you can get anything useful out of them. I seldom do. Well, most of it's sunken. Underwater. That means concrete underwater. Cut your boat if you're not careful. Be sure to enter from the south side. Water's deep there.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Please be conservative with the fuel, will you? Just filled her up, but it's a small tank.
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone.
And that I am. That's, nothing. Is
just a seafort and some plants. You can take a run and we make a fire. We make a fire. Gather the sticks for the fire and build it.
Bullet shells. There are a lot of them left over from the war, but this could be important.
I don't know what those are. They're lights. The fire guy comes and asks us to put the fire out.
Your nerve endings sting from the mention of a guy. They must mean a human being on that island, but it's cut off.
No. Yes.
Let's go with yes.
Because he asks to put the fire out. I don't know. He doesn't like it. Yes. I don't know.
Did you mean there are electrical lights?
Yes. Our father killed him. Don't say that, he didn't. I'm sorry. No, he doesn't live there. No, he lives there. Been there twice, 2 times. He doesn't live there. He isn't there sometimes.
Anything else? What?
I don't know. We ran. He just yelled we shouldn't be there. There's
Lights, fire guy. We should check up on that island.
A skiff with a small steering engine in the back floats. Once you get in, that's it. One pull of the starter handle, and you're off into the... Have you made all the necessary preparations? Remember what the net picker said. It's a small tank. You won't be going back and forth on this.
What? Fine. Let's blast SAD FM then.
SAD FM is a radio station specializing in sad, slow rock songs. You seem to know its frequency by heart.
Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last forever. Eternally. Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last forever. Want to be free.
boat comes to a slow stop. The lieutenant, in the silence, a sputter of wings. A flock of quails takes off and...
Let's go.
The chain trails off into the ocean, connecting the island to the supply depot on the coast.
Ah, yes, so it seems. For bringing munitions to the island, maybe? And supplies? You could also lock the bay when you raise the chain.
As a defensive measure, lock it off that side of the bay.
From enemies. Enemies of the commune of Revachol. This sea fort was a revolutionary fortification, I believe.
The dry grass crackles under your feet as you stop. Far away, birds' wings touch the still surface of the sea. The flock of quail departs, now more than 100 meters away, 102, 105. On the islet, there is almost no wind under the rain quietly falling on the reeds. Bulrushes swaying on the water like a silent orchestra tuning at the beginning of some major work. A silent hiss, sea air moving through the needles of a pine tree. The faraway roar of the city, distant like today's dream. Before it, the sound of sand, the low tide filtered through its grains. Raindrops fall on water, strangely quiet, forming circles in the distance. A low hum. The air slowly moves through a concrete box, through its ancient slits and cracks, resonating, hollow. Air flows out of a pillbox window. There is very little there. The air cossets flowers on a meadow. Absolutes. A drop of rain falls on a black log of an École de Mamadakwa. We are way out now. Way out in the... No, it's just your imagination.
Yes?
This is where a lesser man would stop to think about the pain shooting up his right leg and into his groin. Not you. You're concentrated on how.
I have. Is that why we're stopping?
The lieutenant nods in silence.
Yes?
This is where a lesser man...
It is.
Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor and on a makeshift cupboard. That most are soft covers, serialized fantastique and detective stories from the 20s and 30s. Popular depictions of man versus nature by amateur naturalists T&T among what is mostly commercial fiction and serialized stories. You find a magazine cathodique for electrical engineering. Then it's back to pulp. Light erotica, an international thriller about circuit benders.
Someone's made themselves a home.
Oh yes, under the bed, there is a rather extensive collection of critical theory, that is, dour, life non-affirming left-wing literature, published by small imprints such as Abattoir Firm and Elysium. It's not exactly like reading.
Sia. I agree. Humanitarian sciences. It stands out. Not a lot.
Your incendiary remark has failed to provoke him. Wasn't there some in the communist student's room?
Well, yes. That one student did.
The little books seem inconsequential next to the big pile of frivolous entertainment covering them.
Whoever has lived here, they have some education and...
Interesting. Soft cover. There's a greasy old spring mattress in the corner, resting on piles of soft cover books. White.
Someone has been squatting here. The linen is fresh, recently washed.
You force the rest of the sentence out through pain, thick as molasses. No.
You know, officer, you can rest here if you are feeling tired. I will keep watch. You could use some rest for what's ahead. Yes, anytime. If you need...
You don't have to be a hero. An old cylindrical generator is nested above the ammo lift, with makeshift electrical wiring running out of its side and across the floor. The cables... The lieutenant puts his hand on the metal barrel.
It's cold now, but someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired. Downstairs, somewhere? Liquid carbon. I would imagine it takes mazout. The kind that's favored by vagrants and fuel thieves. It's been a long winter, long and cold.
If anyone stayed here, they'd need a generator. A hollow ring, the canister is empty. Dust falls from the generator and down into the ammo lift.
I don't know. I'm not a philosopher. Someone with basic electrical skills has restored it in order to keep the room warm. Maybe it's the fire.
The wind outside picks up suddenly, with a faint... see a small metal door nested inside a larger one. A heavy steel blast door. There is a conventional key.
Another part of the island, probably. The lock looks like it could still be usable. Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open?
He's right. It would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. It must control the blast door.
I think there's a console just southeast. Let's look around. Getting the blast door open seems like the best plan.
Green paint flecks off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows of switches on the front panel, a frequency band, and even a keyboard.
The console of an antique computation device. The generator upstairs, with wires coming out, they terminate here. Possibly. Urgence, ouvert, allumé, radiodiffusé. It sounds like this device was used to control.
This device was used to control the electronics in the room. It could open doors, control lights, function as a radio computer.
We need to restore power before using this, officer. The generator, it didn't look like We should look around outside. There are barrels all over. Maybe one of them still has something in it.
The boat engine. The console looks on as you talk. ICM? This feels familiar somehow.
No, an upside-down star.
With its horns in the sky, the symbol of the commune.
No, that's the uninhabited archipelago.
A DeLorean-era symbol of Insulinda, known as the face.
After 44 years? That's not nearly enough to hide what happened here. One of these barrels was still leaking fuel, as you saw. The city is full of things like this. Old Bullet, Insulindian Citizens Militia. It's the official name of the communals.
Sounds an awful lot like.
It does. The RCM may descend from the ICM. It's impossible to say. It was chaos after the war. The name was good for getting people to join us. Revachol West was mostly...
Nice political thoughts rush. It's going to be hard to say them. Carrying around all that weight on a busted crutch is making you pant.
You are in a right-wing police force. Those times are long gone.
A strange feeling looking at the water. Maybe you should just wander off into the sea. Perhaps there's someone there, under the water, where it has always been, smelling of tutti frutti and betrayal. Maybe you know it's going to hurt. In the rain mirror of the bay, you see Martinez reflected. Tall edifices of ruins reach into the water, like shimmering towers. Islets and posts, like stepping stones, lead into the water in front of you. Yes, cold and still. But love is warm, like the inside of her mouth. Oh fuck, yes. Go there in your head. No, we're not starting with that. Not now, not this time. This thought is over. There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab, only half covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double embrasures, firing slits.
B triple prime. This looks like a good place to shoot from.
There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window. The springs screech as you lean on the mattress and crane your neck to look out. Trepidation. A tingling. A small piece of Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting. 1 kilometer across the water, the ruins look familiar. A towering skyscraper, its top floors shaved off by artillery fire. Capeside apartments. Rue de Saint. The red chimney and collapsed back of the 4-story tenement in front of the whirling in rags, Rue de Saint-Ghislain. The box-shaped silhouette of the whirling in rags. You see a small fleck of white on the rooftop, the upstairs window of Clausia's room, in the rain, reflecting light.
What does that mean? Do you have line of sight to the window?
More than that.
A pair of binoculars? Or a scope of a rifle? You'd be prone, lying on a mattress, barrel resting on the embrasure.
Cheek against the cheek rest, hand on the hair trigger, on a calm day like this.
Good. I think we have it, Detective. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest.
Affirmative.
In our defense, nothing pointed here. Many leads pointed elsewhere.
He looks north, over the fortification, then at the Met.
Where?
He does not answer, just nods.
We should move now.
A single-person mattress, modern, civilian use, brand name, and an empty can of beans on the ground next to it, filled to the brim with cigarette butts. The silhouette of a tobacco picker adorns the paper filter, the brand Tio Moteri. Contemporary Revacholians prefer Juan, a local blend from the southern islands, or Astra, the legendary cigarette from Grad. Tio Moteri is favored by older men for its paper filter tips, sweet smell, and added tar.
I may have been wrong when I said it wasn't important. This means the same person could have visited both locations. I didn't see any signs of smoking inside, though. If people live there, they keep it tidy. This here may also be a smoking spot.
This old cylindrical, the lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel tank as you tilt. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder and a start rope on the other side. The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old warhorse.
That should do it.
A dim golden glow animates.
It's on.
Automatic boot. The blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in.
After you. So did I. Not back there, but I felt it since we came here. I don't know. Don't worry. I have a gun.
Harry, this reminds you, you're out of bullets.
Then it's extra good that mine is not.
A dim golden glow. The dial slides under the dusty glass, dark and silent, despite the power being on. You make out defunct stations on
Insular. This is an off-air radio computer, I believe, used for military communications.
the lighting in the room turns on with a sizzle, a dim ambient orange. An old man, wearing tracksuit trousers, leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in it, then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He rate unclouded by cataracts. His eyesight is sharp. He's practically tearing up from spite. Hatred got the best of him a long time ago. This man hates everything.
It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it gets the job done. It's a 3-Angong 446.
Southeast Samaran made. Exotic. Must be defunct too. No modern rifle.
A Samaran rifle. How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Sinyao commune.
It has stayed true to him. He can still make it sing.
You heard me. It's good now, like chalk, white from the ball. Yes, I bet you've killed a lot of people. Have you come to make me one of...
We have come to ask you questions. Nothing more. If you do not comply, we will take you in.
Another spitball lands in the ashes. That's all the answer he gives.
I did. And you opened it. Reactionary rock and roll music. Playing on the water.
Told you we shouldn't play sad FM.
The fascists were right about rock and roll. It is degenerate. Hip gyro. My eyesight. The what now? I can't hear you. I may have. All sorts of little rats have come. Fire guy. Regressive bourgeoisie henchman. Can't even talk like a grown-up.
No. Put it down now.
Or you're gonna blow my brains out before you question me. It's out of bullets.
Like an amputated limb in the sand. His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangon, 4.46 millimeter.
No one said it has to be a Belmagrave. We were just guessing.
From ballistics, it could easily have been a triangle.
It doesn't matter if it was made in Shanti Shanti. All it has to do is use jacketed ammunition. The right type and the right calibre.
He's liking this. The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. His right arm. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It could be used against him to get a confession. In time.
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross. Political Commissar of the 140. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my terminal surrender.
The commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? Your holdover from the...
From the Insular Indian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
No. I've been on other islands, too. I was in Resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was an E-48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 43 years and 10 months. It's not how a human being should live. But I had to. I couldn't just forget.
He just couldn't. He nods, but he can now.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
2 police officers step out of the Whirling in Rags cafeteria. Satellite officer Jean-Vic Mayer inspects a series of burnt black letters splashed across the plaza mosaic. Patrol officer Judith Minot points west. The fishing village. She glances at her watch. We meet in 15. The officers go, leaving behind the writing, still smoldering.
Always waiting. For her to return.
Her who?
Girl child. Revolution. Always. No. The material base for an uprising has eroded. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will...
So that's why he's the deserter.
I have done everything a man can do.
We keep people alive. We help them survive. Whatever.
Survive? For what? I was just 16 years old. 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. Well done. I won't explain it to a minion of Cap. It's not an island, Dwat. It's a defensive fortification. The congenitally deformed King Philip II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02. Coalition military called it Operation Deathblow. Deathblow? You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone. Iblis. The black-eyed angel. How does anyone survive? I steal.
Now hold on there.
You're insane and grotesque. Everyone steals. Vegetables, supplies. It's the life.
How is your health?
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like...
He does seem frail. Gaunt for his age. More like 75 than 65. Trouble putting on weight could mean...
TRCM can provide medical services.
I need to die. You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns. I have been running out of that stuff.
There's no way he could manage the pain without them. It's safe to say he is addicted to painkillers by now.
It's the little joys. The dark joke. The sunshiny... There's nothing to look over. The triage is in. I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years missing. Others, I don't even know what. Inferno? At least you know it. The traders of this city turned the lights back on in the 30s, after the fighting stopped. Ruins. It's disgusting.
Are they not heartbroken? How could they have moved on?
It was hard in the 10s. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for strike.
There were posters.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Cold City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, and others too, some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot.
In the city, you move on a...
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I just... So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Elmer Graves, right? I know.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others. Those McGray...
You feel the dots connecting. Little dots on the map he's walked across.
The propaganda bunker.
Propaganda, but
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda of it. A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. I don't want to. They're all traitors.
He does not want to see life moving on. People forgetting, drinking.
I do. They're good. Plenty of tar. I like that boy on the pack, too. Reminds me of
The old man looks across the water, at the city, the ruins, the motor.
You're with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol. You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International. The enemies of humanity who took this city. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze.
A spray of blood from his mouth. On Rene, the royalist on the coast, said,
Liberal reactionaries signed that instrument. Traitors who should have been burned alive.
is that part of why you've been here all this time? Because the
he just wipes the blood from his chin.
Honor is a feudal atavism. My motive is class. No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not trained. In historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things...
The old man does not answer.
His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follows the...
Scientific communism. A commissaire politique is a knight philosopher of the revolution.
Awakened from shutdown by the promise of he nods slowly. Then another tremor.
No, you're not. You're part of the meat shield. The human shield that surrounds the fascists.
Detective, we have not come here to discuss ideology. We have come to ask questions.
The old man spits into the fire pit.
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce. I've used it for...
Killing people.
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? I've used it to...
Interesting. During...
There is no after the war.
So he's continued killing after. This is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while. But this is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin. The solution. Go in straight. No euphemisms. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him... Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal. Nothing comes to you. Silence. His black eyes look at you.
What did I just say?
What did I just tell you? Don't drop the ball now.
I don't want to tell you anything.
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong. all the time.
The who now?
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. Right choice. We're in. Do it, sire.
Oh, yes. That one.
Did you kill him?
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol.
Exhaust him with proof. Pile it all on the gun. The murder weapon is the perfect. The scent of blood in the air. But what else? Something about the tracks. Suddenly, all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something else first.
Stupid dwat.
The lieutenant looks at you with what? Not this, he seems to say. Anything but this.
Intuition is an aberrant psychologism. Your brain is rotting from the...
He does not answer the provocation. It does not look like he yeah, this just didn't. But still, somehow you knew it was a communist. Perhaps you suspected it before. The vision was you remembering that. Was it supposed to? Yes, you have a vast royalist soul, and it's reaching out for something in the future. No, the miracle is still waiting. You are. Soon it will.
Standing there, slack-jawed, brain
The lieutenant, not this, he seems to say. Anything but this.
Matter does not behave in such a way. Those are your...
He does, yeah, but still.
Standing there, slack...
The lieutenant, not this, he seems to say.
Nature does not be your...
He does, yeah, this, but still.
Standing there, slack-jawed, brain festering.
Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof. There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. They're revolutionary. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now, they're gonna come up. You got it. Remember? The boot prints were like no modern soul.
Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white.
He seems tender suddenly. Nostalgic.
So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away. They blossom on the islets before we fertilize them with our blood. Resurrection. The coast, too, before they pile their...
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths?
I may. Class...
He knows her, but hadn't heard the name.
My ears don't reach the city with the victim.
Almost. But you need one more. Just one. Or maybe two.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand?
Show me the souls, please, Miss...
Fucking imbecile.
The maker is called Sensory. You see their V-shaped logo, but can't. These are not the unusual horizontal pattern souls you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room.
The size fits, but not the soul.
Simpler? No. This is another loose thread you will never connect. The lieutenant raises his... What are you doing? He's thinking. We all... Not now. Stop yourself.
People change shoes, detective. It was you. You were there, weren't you? What were you doing? Some kind of reconnaissance?
Trying to rack your brains. You're desperate to report something.
The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silence. More. He's gonna crack. But you need a little more.
I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You damn...
You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had... You've been here a long time, Mr. Dross. Too long.
I'm ready to die.
He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascists for fascists. Done his part.
Because it's a sniper's nest, you stupid fuck. Radio Gosh is right.
Leave no stone unturned. Get him on what matters most.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun. Not like your little musketeer pistols. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it. He would have a good view of the tribunal from here. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
You didn't handle anything. I watched it happen. You let those murderers rip right into them. Got most of them killed. None of those people mean anything to you.
You're getting diverted. Push the gun. Only the...
So you watched the fight. Did you like what you saw? The mayhem. It was all your doing.
You don't know anything.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it? Good. This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this.
Murder. You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood. Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for... Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
The lieutenant raises his right. Hush. He does not need to be pushed anymore. The ball is rolling.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them. In phase. And I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death. And that stupid look. Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white. Or what's left of it anyway. My lap. And so...
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're
Yes.
And you were looking at them, the victim and a young woman, having sex? Through the scope of your rifle that...
The old man.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
The motive. This is where the motive... You can coax it out of him. The lieutenant...
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
I'm always looking.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle?
A rifle scope has...
And if you don't like...
Click.
Yes. Think of it as a form of...
You got him going. Connect every little piece now. Start with when he first saw him. It will give him a chance to ramble.
a tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers. Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house, stripped clean and draped in neon. Because of the racists, everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Pump full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race... Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square. Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol, intense, like animals, like those boom-boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs. The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now, her gun-toting porcelain menard. The worst is that old cop parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Coyamoran, or some... That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain. We did good when we pushed him under that horse car. If only, in the 30s, those disco whores...
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center. There was something about a statue and nihilistic advertising agency people might be worth investigating.
Syphilis is a disease Philippe III contracted in a whorehouse. The statue is an abomination. The bacteria entered his brain and made him squander trillions on sparkling wine, cocainum, and...
That is technically possible, although Philippe III...
And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. We lost 2 million... What a keen remark. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's still there. Do you know why? That's right. Some advertising cockroaches erected a cynical deconstruction of it. We tore it down with honest working class. Art is a bourgeois establishment. It's an affront. Whores. Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true...
Disappointment. So personal. He displays a familiarity with the...
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass.
Edgar.
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in...
He's been sweet-talked by this Edgar. They must have met in person for such animosity to have developed.
You can't live alone.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in...
Of course. Maybe the Clears don't go straight for the kill. Exhaust everything else first. Soften him up.
I haven't approached anyone. I hid.
How did he know you were...
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for... I was right about one of those things. Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted... Never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzoff. Oh, and charity, too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker here. 20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they?
That's around the time the Clears came to power.
Let me be here? The ZOC is an unlawful...
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics.
Okay, he didn't do the hang the man for them. But he's insinuating something. The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water. Dark, cold water.
Hey.
He acknowledges it. Here we go. A twist. Yeah.
That bourgeois cow. Tiffin Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen her labor and money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker. She was, and she was real soft on those money men. Had a Barbara Muscova bag over her shoulder that she liked to... Called in, they say. On the eve of battle. Ran away.
No, that's not...
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her.
No, I guess it was not. She couldn't make the call herself.
Here it is. The bend in the rib.
Because she was dead. Because the cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal, grasping her tit and drowned. Or bled. Hard to say. She was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often was. The ruins are black around her, and she had a yellow, heading home to Grand Couronne or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in them. Someone shot her, or maybe the cow just fell. My memory, nothing changed. Not in the material base, not in the hegemony.
Edgar didn't keep his part of the deal. If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could walk. We would strike everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment.
A degenerate worker state. Goat shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short. I will rot away here, in a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything. All you know is I saw it happen, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. Her plump body, bobbing up and down in that canal like...
The same old free. There is plenty here to work with once he's in custody. And the lieutenant knows it. He gives you a little nod to proceed.
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. of all royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot's plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. But I remember him. I remember him from La Noce. Not him personally, his make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought that one. Fat and plump, like a pheasant, just begging to be popped off. Please, Mr. Dross, shoot me. Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the trigger. Think about it. Let the bomb melt in my mouth.
Save the treat for later?
He is a juicy bonbon, that one. A real treat for the black day. The blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think, no, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, René. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him throw those balls, and I suddenly feel better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one for him. Haven't seen him around lately, strutting around. Must be down with arthritis. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood.
Hearing it may destabilize him. You sure you've gotten everything from him?
No. I waited too long. I waited too long and now he's dead?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dross. I understand you knew him for...
They're all dead now.
If he really wanted to kill him so bad, he would have done. There must have been 1,000 black days on these islands. His health ailing.
All human beings care about each other. I cared for seeing his head explode. And I blew them all. What? Fuck you. You think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen.
He's not okay. This is just another black day in a row of black days. Something strange.
Glad we talked about what?
His lip curls into...
Glad we talked about what? Them fucking. I didn't like that. Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like, and I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to...
This man has seen past her, like you did. And now he longs to see her covered, to punish her.
She practically breastfed that man. You wouldn't believe the things she let him do to her.
While he stands here and rots.
You're delusional. There's nothing to see in the soul of the bourgeois woman. It's the same as the surface. Sick hedonism and desperation. Made a little love nest up there. Sweaty linen and bottles they would use for God knows what. I saw other men there too.
A red-haired woman?
That kind of thing is fine by the party. So is fine by me.
Seems like the answer was yes.
Since she came to Martinez, I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have
Past the Fell building on the coast? What was she?
hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She could... her passport and tickets to Villiers.
In the free state of Seminine, hidden away at the edge of the earth, near the Pale.
After she was...
Did you keep what was in it? When we found...
No. Why would I do that? I didn't need tickets to Villiers.
This implies that he's thought about extorting her. Also, a little inconsistency here. He was surprised to hear her name Clausia before. Would he not have seen it on the documents?
Why would I need that trash? I'm not going to Villiers. You didn't say Clausia in there. It was something. I don't remember. It was dark that morning. I did. She had a face like an archipelago, with those birthmarks, and a body hard and lean and bruised all over. I could see who she was, too. A spook, on the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up...
You could tell she was a spook?
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard of...
He's setting it up. The bruises. You can't make that out in a scope.
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
It quickly comes to you.
Oh, yes. Cutting those drugs of hers into little lines with a knife. Masturbating
Did you make that hole?
with a clip point knife. Like that, too. Yes. Bending like a bow against the glass. I've been through all of them. Yes, that, too. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the loop. One more loose end down.
How did you get in there? The hidden...
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing out.
You had to open the steel door?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over.
Andy found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union Box window.
There's nothing to hold up.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stone.
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know. No, I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child. The day after I killed him. Yes, I don't know.
It's as if something put the thought there to leave the flowers.
What do you mean, put?
A brief flash of terror.
Maybe. I told you, I have holes in my brain now. If you came 10 years ago...
In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line. One more down.
Her.
The lieutenant nods at you. in acknowledgement. That's it.
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days. Gone. I knew it. She kept staring into the scope this last week at the island. She'd look at night, crying or smoking on the roof, staring right into me.
Across the water, on a dilapidated jetty in a nameless village, made of grey cinder block houses with Eternite roofs. He's there, doing what exactly I don't know. Satellite Officer Vic Mayer points at Special Consultant Heidelstein is optimistic. We'll see the boat when he comes. Let's go get a coffee until then. As the men go, Patrol Officer Minnow looks back over her shoulder at the crop. Good luck, Harry, she thinks. You need something good. The old man has fallen silent, staring at your feet. The burnt logs in the fire are moist from the sea air.
3 weeks ago, when the rich hag came in on her galley.
Joyce. He means Joyce.
Wrinkled up whore. Lack sexual morals are a bourgeois ploy. As to Pedera, so don't you sermonize me, you racist shithole. It's still bourgeois when the bourgeois does it, fiddling with their... They moved into a deserted apartment above the roundabout. Radio equipment out for all to see. Reaction. I've seen their kind during the landing. Those Occidental and Mest phalanx weren't conscripts. Boys like us. They were white, barely alive. They like to kill while they're on their drugs. After the landing, in the burning years, I would take shots at them. I could see they've returned now to show their real face. The face they don't dare show their bourgeois voters back on Mundi with their families and polyester clothes.
For a 60-year-old man with stomach trouble, who spent his entire life alone on an uninhabited island, he's clearly a drug user of the painkiller sort, prone to erratic hand gestures, and malnourished. But that's it. The moment passes, and you say,
I ain't going.
hear that? Magnesium. That's what you're lacking. The lack of magnesium has you... Yes, and it's critical. Look at yourself. You're practically devolving into a fish due to the lack of magnesium in your bloodstream. You need to get so magged up. You've probably had 2 heart attacks and a minor stroke already. And the only prescription is insane amounts of magnesium. Yes, if you want to live, you need to evolve. You need to ascend the carbon. The old man stares despondently at the logs. It's like The old man.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
The sum of all the erratic movements. Fidget.
Your Wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel. Do you?
But... No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He's sweating. Beads are forming on it.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
This hat is so soft, so warm. Kraz Mazov would have worn this, Yusheng. Glory to the... The old man stares despondent.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
The sum of all the erratic movements, fidgeting, and mood swings he's been exhibiting.
Your Wayfarer right. Do you?
But... No.
He's sweating.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
There it is again, to your north, as it has been since you came to the coast. The reeds whisper, stalk, something completely different. It sounds like a bow, very...
Maybe there is room for 3 on the boat. What?
What are you talking about? Is...
Your skin crawls. A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just...
What are you talking about? There's nothing there.
The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head. You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand move to your holster to grab the gun.
Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small...
I can see it.
4 simple words, thank God. But that means it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence. Its lip...
Be very, very careful.
creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It is not. The segmented antennae move with apprehension, searching for reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning. The hiss is different from the strings you heard before. It says something else in a lower pitch. Slowly, with your breath held, you take 2 small steps toward the phasmid. The creature lets out like laughter, a sort of hissing and clicking. It extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned by reeds, and its eyes are like small droplets of water. The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its crown of reeds, little pin. Suddenly, there is silence. As you do, the invertebrate comes to life, its limbs moving independent of each other, as if each praying to you. The reed creature does not stop its stridulations. It towers above you. Perhaps it is preparing to eat its god. No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth. You were right. Little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature, on its segmented lower lip. The faintest smell, like you've never felt before, like burnt roses.
Careful. It may be poisonous.
The foam slowly turns a darker shade, like burnt caramel, as the insect moves its, letting out that same smell. Apricot blossoms, white blossoms erupting, a sensation like cold hands on your face.
I exist. Tell me what it's like for you. Then I will tell you what it's like for me. Yes, holy is the Lord of hosts, and all the earth is filled with his glory. Now, I will tell you what it's like for me. For me, it is a series of half-lit images, a kind of darkness, being intruded upon, transient, dim, moist, shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations, a swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms. I am at the end of a narrow funnel, weightless, so light, it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I'm nothing. I certainly do not have a soul, and if I did, it would never ache. Are you sure? Sometimes, when molting, I will grow a lost limb. One time something went wrong, and a small leg replaced the missing antenna. Yes, The leg tried to move around independently, making it hard to walk. Yes, thankfully someone ate it. The next time I molded, I grew an antenna again. I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmadia, endemic to the Insulindia Isula. For the last 350 years, I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, molding, cloning myself, unfolding at night. No one believed I exist. Almost no one. Until you came, detective, dripping of blood that smells like strawberries, across the calm sea, the first in 1,000 years. I have stayed hidden through 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the citizen militia in Rebelshaw, district of Martinez, March 51. Not even the birds know that. Not even the water lily. I think we should eat it. If it's a leaf, you can put it in your mouth. Or read.
Wait, so
Yes, they don't mind. Yes, I once cloned myself and ate the little ones. It was winter, and I woke up at the wrong time. It was an accident. No, you are the miracle. The moral of our encounter is, I am a relatively medium life form, while you are extreme, all-engulfing madness. A volatile simian nervous system. The pale too came with you. No one remembers it before you. The Nidarians do not. The radially symmetrics do not. There is an almost unanimous agreement between the birds and the plants that you are going to destroy us all. It is a nervous shadow cast into the world by you, eating away at reality. A great, unnatural territory. You are a violent and irrepressible miracle. The vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in it are afraid of you. Give me enough time, you will wipe us all out and replace us with nothing. We suspect it will be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago.
instead of air, you exhale thoughts. There are no trees that eat thoughts.
Everything your eyes touch goes back there, behind the nose mirror. What if you blink? Are we still here? Please don't blink. What if you misplace us all one day, or just forget? Please be. Or one day, one of you will close your eyes and sigh, and open them to see that none of this ever existed. So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect? Yes. No one detected me for such a long time. For thousands of years. I dithered, out of sight. Trapped. No one believed I exist. Almost no one. Until you came, detective. Dripping of blood that smells like strawberries. Across the calm sea. The first in 1,000. No, you're awake. I am real.
It doesn't look like that, no. You're just staring at it. Okay. Is it somehow related to the case? I think we should take the picture, and then you should back away from the unstudied species.
No, there is one more. Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you before you go. That woman, turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward. Forever show. You cannot lie to me. Behind you, it smells of fires. So awfully far you were prepared to go in her presence. And it. She was hell on earth. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that.
Okay.
There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being...
In 3. If it moves...
The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The phasmid freezes in its bright light. Head to...
I got it.
The antennae hang from a great height. With your hand shaking, you barely touch the tip of the left whisker. On contact, the kiting curls into a spiral. It is surprisingly delicate, the curly end of the whisker, like a...
Be careful, detective. It's moving.
You were right. It glistens with some kind of moisture. The creature in front of you stays frozen. It tastes like sugar, very faint. The anthropod towers above you, odorless, mostly comprised of water. The limb before you is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. Warning. A sudden shiver passes the limb. Looks like the creature is awakening. Wave by some sort of countdown process is happening. That's all you have time to think. Another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing where it left off, in a swaying, praying motion. Even the small black pearls of its eyes do not stray from you. As you're turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping on the water, the long limbs carrying its feather weight without breaking its surface. And just like that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone. And something under it, in the place it stood, bobbing there, among the reeds.
It's gone. Apparently, yes. Like a water strider. Only... I've never seen anything like that in my life. Looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look.
What now?
In some kind of strange...
Our suspect is not looking so good. We need to check on him.
Brother, you've managed to collect all the armor pieces. Too bad it's too late for the big showdown. Future use for a future armor. Agreed. Gear up. This passport, issued by the Sovereign Republic of Oranje, is issued to a black-haired woman called Katarzyna.
Classia's hidden documents. From the MT boy.
It's Klasia, with short black hair and glasses. She looks boyish, younger somehow.
Maybe our man, Mr. Dross, took it from Classia's, or whatever her name was. Hiding place, or... Like a magpie? What a coincidence. Then it would also have collected the other objects, which would be...
By now, the lieutenant has accepted your
I can see how the helmet could wash up on the island. And the scope. Maybe Mr. Dross lost it. But to seek this out would be very unusual behavior for an arthropod. She said it would be for Anouk Meyer-Smith.
Katarzyna Alazia was supposed to be her real name. Where Klasia comes from. I told you she kept lying to you. She's probably lying to someone else right now. In another city.
No, she lied to us. Her so-called real name was not her real name. Somehow she's managed to lie to us about that too. I don't know, but it's not Katarzyna Alasia, or Klasia, or Anouk Meyer-Smith. We didn't even scratch the surface. Perhaps it's better that we didn't arrest her. Who knows what hell she'd be raising in my district by now.
What is it?
Something is very wrong with him now.
See.
Mr.
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets, his gap-toothed mouth shaking. The plastic cape feels coarse. A light shiver passes the man. Other than
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem.
the trembling mouth.
Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid. Old age and shock. Yes, the arrest and the appearance of the Phasmid, the combined stress. But you think it's something more than that?
There's much more. Remember what it said when it spoke.
That could be part of the shock. But you're right, something is off here. Mr. Dross,
No response.
then how did we see it? Oh, you mean, whatever does this, does it over time? Teenagers, kids, drunks, sightings are brief, and hence not credible. But anyone who spends a long time with it. Mr. Dross, have you ever seen a... The doctors will have to look at this. I hope your station has better medical personnel than 57. He did seem distressed when it finally came to arresting him. Like he didn't want to leave this place, and the insect maybe. I have absolutely forgotten to take notes. I hope I remember all of this. This will be one hell of a report.
No one would believe you without it. He stares into the reeds. Your words don't stir anything in him. Nothing. Just dull stare. The last embers have gone out.
If Kuno kicked it into the sea, as he said he did, the ebb would put it back here. This makes sense. Mr. Dross could have picked it up. Or the Phasmid even. If it did, this is incredible.
No reaction. His breathing is slow, and
Did you take this passport and other papers? He hears us.
no reply.
Try something else? We got him.
I lost.
He turns his eyes to the reed.
He lost the scope. Then it somehow made its way over there. With the help of a magpie Phasmid. This site is a T9, Mr. Dross. Was it?
Silence. You've gotten all you will. The plastic cape flaps around his face. The blacks of his eyes are receding. His
We should think about getting back to the mainland. To get help. He'll be safe here. If we don't take too long.
The tank is far from full, but there should be enough inside. The skiff is swaying on the waves.
Let's. We are done here.
The skiff rocks gently under your weight, but for the sound of conversation on the water. There are 2 men and a woman stand on the concrete square of a nameless village. You reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
Look what the tide brought in. I want to call you a teapot, but I'm honestly kind of impressed. No idea where you got all that gear, but there's no doubt in my mind that some bad people. Also, you look like a...
Whatever this is, it is completely unimportant. This is the man with sunglasses from the Whirling in Rags. But where are his sunglasses?
Hello, I'm Trent Heidelstein. I believe we've met on...
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean-Vic Quemar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it. Special Consultant Trent Heidelstein, Patrol Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
We've come to scrape what's left of you off the pavement.
Lieutenant Kim Kisuragi, Prison 57. We've just come from the island. We are in...
The scene is making even him feel as though he has to justify.
We might need your help with something later.
As if he recalled that he's in fact a decorated police lieutenant.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuhagi.
Letting the lieutenant know he shouldn't feel embarrassed over the shitstorm that's about to befall you.
That's right. And you're some kind of murder machine. We're not forgetting about anything. Look at you. Oh, really? They don't seem bothered by it? That's because you're a cop in an exoskeleton. Actually, are you? Are you still a cop? There's so much disco going on.
Vic, calm down. Ari, we want to help you. Trent, I believe this is where you...
This is the horse-faced woman. I don't know why you named her that, but it was beyond idiotic. You should never...
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in... My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get...
No, Trent. It's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for...
What does he have to say for himself? He left you to catch the shit kid. What an interesting moniker.
You. Shit kid, that's you.
Maybe you've deserved it.
The cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you went. Speaking of which, the giant aerograffito in front of the building, the one that's burning, did you do that? I knew it. Didn't I tell you, Trant? I told you it was.
The line is from Lu Jiatun's Mirova 82, isn't it? About girl-child communism, the titular returning character to ghost the apparition of... Good choice, Harry.
Don't encourage him, Trant.
Okay.
Guilty as charged. I heard you lost your mind and your memory. I wanted, and it was. Good work, Harry. You're insane now. There's one.
He was too sarcastic for you to realize who he was.
Had what coming? Not recognizing people you work with every day? Brain damage?
It's okay. I didn't come here to gloat or to fool you.
That's right. Worried. I'm always worried about you. Every time you don't show up to work. Or when you do. But still, you're a worry fest. She's worried about you. I'm worried about you. Even Special Consultant Backpedal is worried about you. Everyone worries instead of working.
Yes, I'm Tran Heilerstein. I never said I wasn't Tran Heilerstein. Mikhail? Mikhail is my son. No, I was just interested in the Feld building and the Martinez beachhead. And Mikhail wanted to see Martinez. It was a coincidence. What indeed? I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in König.
He's here to see if you're insane. He's smart. Let's move on. Yeah, Major Crimes Unit, under Lieutenant Dubois and Vicomar. Ring any bells? Refresh your memory? It's a goddamn Major Crimes Unit. There's you, me, Jude, Trant fuck.
Technically...
Fuck you. You're part of this shit show. Oh, that's an interesting story, actually. Guillaume Bevy is a police reporter who joined our team. He was really good. Then other people have left too. Good, smart people. People we won't get back. Only me and this really patient patrol officer are still here.
Is this Guillaume Bevy blonde and partial to sunglasses?
See? There! He's getting it. I was impersonating him. Look at me, I'm G-Baby. It was going to be funny. But then, you really did.
He sincerely thought it was going to be amusing.
Do? It's a Major Crimes Unit. We clear the desk of cases so Precinct 41 doesn't look like the worst station in town. We're shit here now, Harry.
The 41st isn't...
God damn it, Harry. You told us to fuck off. You said we are cramping your style. You're detective god. Fuck everything. All will burn. Detect or die. Here we go. Alcoholic delirium. Visions. Almost back. Duped. Hey, here's a brilliant idea. Don't be a morbid drunk, and you won't be duped so easily.
Yes, I'm still kinky soulite.
Still caught up in this crossfire, too.
Duped? Hey, no. You.
Maybe you've deserved it.
The cafeteria manager you fucked over? Strange. He didn't mention that. In fact, he established... I don't know. It had... The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage. Trant, this is where you come in.
Well, he doesn't have visible tremors. He talks without slurring. He can drive a boat. He's standing, reasoning. All good signs, but
Meaning, you forgot both who you are and the definitions of money, Isola, Pearl, and...
As displayed in the station call, our interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was. It's all very...
Interesting.
Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socioeconomically? Not when you phrase it like that, but I don't think critical theory... I know everyone thinks this is far-fetched pink academia, but still, I don't think...
What? He lost his map?
No, not like that. I'm not talking Vredefort's school here. But Harry, I asked you, what do you think happened?
Son of fucking Lung here. Detective Farad, son of Lung on the case.
It's an urban myth. A police detective who employs highly experimental investigative techniques. It's a cultural
He has indeed had the possibility before. I have trouble believing him, of course, but he seems to want to convince himself of it. And I've seen him work. His methods are...
With all due respect, Lieutenant, you're bewitched by the shit, kid. It happens. What doesn't happen is a cop wiping his own memory. In fact, it's not possible to wipe one's memory at all. Even with the amount of pot and pilsner he downs every hour.
Detective Wigmer. I'm not saying he's the son of Lung, but lying? I mean, he has, yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious benders. One was after the two drunks case. The other when...
Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes.
What do you mean?
Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained. Look at the ruins, the neon. Listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world team, to borrow a known metaphor. Hardwired to the free market.
Okay, Trant, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major crimes unit? Is he a cretin now?
He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective.
No one even mentioned that. I misphrased my question. It should have been, is he able to put his clothes on and use the potty? Or do we... Now, nothing. Now we're just going to stand here. No, now we discuss that. What the fuck did you do to our motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry? Yes, in the ocean, under the sea. Our work vehicle with fish and clams and other sea shit. Ha ha ha! Ho ho ho! Tequila sunset? Jump the canal. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property that's coming out of my payslip. You know that, right? You gotta get... It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge. The thing that tells people you're a police officer. We're not armor cops, we're cop cops. People don't know us by our armor, they know us by our badges. You called in and said you lost yours. Have you found it?
In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the smooth plastic. and the badge slips out of your hand. You juggle the badge for a second, unsuccessfully, and it lands on the ground. So, ouch! You strained your elbow trying to catch that.
He found it. He found it, Jean. It's his badge.
And your gun?
As if having your badge and gun are natural states, not achievements.
Yeah, gun. The thing that was given to you to kill people. Upgraded it? I don't care about your weapon mania, Harry. I only care about your official sidearm, which you lost. Phew, he has it. And he didn't drop it. You're drunk like a bum, Harry. Put that thing away before you kill someone. I don't buy it. Why do you smell like a corpse?
He's wounded. It's been a long week, and he's handled an actual corpse.
I don't believe you. You're drunk. You let a suspect escape, a certain glacier, because you were too drunk to assess our flight risk.
We've read the report, Sari. Lieutenant Kitsuhagi's. We know.
Oh well, if she was nice. I'm not even gonna get into the other suspect, who also escaped, or the fact that you're Evrard Claire's little peony now, doing I don't know what for him. That small-time stuff, that's nothing. Compared to the 6 people who were gunned down, the streets are literally...
He did everything he could. We did everything we could. The company hired and vetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois could be...
Here comes the cavalry.
He did so at considerable risk to his person. Remember, he was shot. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been. Don't make this harder for yourself.
Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation. You spent the week with him on this case. On Lieutenant Geoffrey Dubois.
Well, the drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge.
See?
1 week.
Then there's the superstardom. He likes to, from time to time, allude to being a superstar law official. At first I thought it was a joke, but now I'm not so sure. It's worrying, especially in light of his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a fascist, a far-right woman hater, and of course, also in other still, he is also a Mazovian socio-economist who believes in liquidating the ruling class. How he reconciles these 2 points of view. And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, and the drugs, of course. Amphetamine, mostly. But despite all this, he is a great detective. He can talk human beings into telling him everything. And he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped pursuing leads, however far-fetched and tangential. He is tireless. Well, except that one time when he stopped to sing karaoke, which, by the way, I have to disagree with you, Mr. Vicmar, was a valiant effort.
Okay, he did some.
Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on the case, and he solved it. We have a confession, a murder weapon, He apprehended a revolutionary brigade who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over those years.
A new species?
A colossal stick insect. It was on the island, camouflaged as the reeds.
He takes out the photo and shows it to the officers across the yard. You hear gasps beneath the howling.
As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered.
Fucking hell is that? Is this somehow connected?
The killer did not seem to be aware of the phasmid's presence, exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia. He fell into a stupor after its appearance. He became near catatonic.
So it is.
I must say, this is absolutely extraordinary. It's...
Yes, it really does make it hard to fight out the drunk.
This is a very, very sad man who has just seen something that's... Now you make your case. Now is the time. Now or never.
Female?
You had to see it. It had the subdued colors of a female.
Incredible. Were there eggs?
Not as far as I could see. There were other things there, though.
Actually, you know, this would indicate it was a male. This is far from anything in my field, but I think such nests are called bowers. They are for attracting mates. Of course, as I said, I'm only guessing. As in cloning itself? What makes you think so? Then it wouldn't matter if it's male or female. The bower which is...
That makes sense. Yes.
Very interesting.
Yes, but also reed-colored, beige and brown, a little green on the outside. After unfolding...
Incredible. The PR value of this is exceptional. Carp discovers new species. Maybe even discovers the insulinity.
This would really help with some of the.
Absolutely, this is great. This does not say vigilante murderers to me at all. This says science, news, human interest.
Without it,
You're doing good here. Perhaps quit while you're ahead? Or no?
This is a conversation for when we are no longer out in the open. In Martinez, where Everard and...
And eyes, too. You're
understood.
but a case against Everard would...
I would prefer not to partake in anything union-related.
This has to be good stuff for him to backpedal out of it at first mention.
Yes. Fallen through a gap in the boardwalk. Drunk.
The body was transported to Precinct 41, our morgue.
You're not the only cop in the world, Harry.
Still, good work with the missing.
It's still a point for you. No denying it.
I don't know what a doomed commercial area is. Why? That's not what you were...
There was a fridge we needed and a possible witness. He was just chasing a lead and ended up advising a...
Of course. Call it community.
Dodged the bullet there. For a moment, it seemed like you were just wasting time.
Who's Kuno?
You don't want...
You're right, Lieutenant. I don't. You snorted the drugs. I know you did. It's all right. I mean, at this point, anything is but the drink. What was that? It sounded like you set up a nightclub in the church. That's great. Entrepreneurship is a great new career for you.
4 kids were living in a tent on the ice. They were going to drown when it melted. It's not optimal, but the building was abandoned, so he put them in there.
It's not that okay. Get off this subject.
Lilianovich. A revolutionary matronym. The custom started in Grad, where they have patronyms. Krasovich, Lars. This man's mother was Lilian. His Lilian's son, Lilianovich. The custom was
So, it is what a soldier of the ICA.
Thank you, Trout. Thank you for that piece of cultural...
Of course, excuse me,
He wasn't quite sure about the straggler before he heard this detail. It must have convinced him.
Jealousy? I thought this Lilianovich...
A strange psychosexual fascination. The result of spending all this time in solitude on the islands of this bay. And trauma too. He himself gave a Also, we have ballistics from the gun, matching the bullet found in the dead mercenary's head. And...
It's a clean win.
Oh, it's what way more.
Perfect folding mechanism. Get over yourself, Harry.
God damn it. Doesn't it ever leave? It will pass. In time.
I don't want to, but you discovered a new species, and so I have to.
Anything that ends the trial is okay with me.
Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to...
Okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go.
Now you will finally get to know who you are. The man looks west, jingling his car keys in his pocket.
Who are you? You're a gym teacher, Harry. Well, obviously you're not a gym teacher anymore, but...
Before you were a cop, you were a gym teacher in Coron. It's getting really cold outside. Should we maybe... You haven't told us about that. You just told us about being a gym teacher.
Harry, it explains everything. The running around, the jumping, the shot put, your inexplicable facial hair. The fact that you don't seem to know what homosexuality...
Also, this guy. God, even this javelin-throwing freak here.
Of course.
He's been on about Mike again? I hate that guy. Oh, you don't say. Does he also vault an impassable gulf of fire?
It is getting cold out.
In your 20s or late 20s, you've really let yourself go since then. Yes, you tout gym in Coron. I believe that's the term. Tout.
The smell of sweat and glue. Coron is just east of Jamrock. It was a short walk every...
High school. Harry, your goings-on with Kuno, Andre, Acel, the whole thing on the...
His smirk suggests barely contained laughter.
The regular. You found some chick. She inspired you to fight the big fight.
You, every morning, walking from Voyager Road to teach gym. She, leaving for the academy with her spring coat on.
I knew it. I knew no normal human being can run like that. He's an honest-to-God gym teacher.
It's not a mystery. Some chick fucked you over.
You really went with it too. Really maximized the depth.
Dora something. Dora Ingelund? Yeah.
Not Dora Dubois.
Something like that.
Vasa is where beautifully and impossibly blonde people come from.
No one is married anymore. This is Revachol. God, I don't know. 6 years ago?
6 years and you haven't gotten over it. What the hell is...
No, it was 6. Like ancient. It's an old man thing. 2 old years equals 1 normal year. That and Dora Ingelund really tore you a new... Incredibly bangable? She was extremely fuckable, Harry. Gorgeous. A gorgeous book.
Snow, Welkin. Heartbreak, pain, Welkin.
I've only seen a picture, but it's obvious you formed a real spiritual connection with how pretty she was. What?
Look, the sun is about to go down.
I think she taught in the Académie des Arts, east of the river. Way east. Hard to say which came first, the middle-class chick or the drink. Egg. My point is, you need to see a psychiatrist about this shit, not a psychologist. Several degrees harder. Is there...
In other words, he's heard enough about this.
No. You're too unstable to work for a mob boss. You're so...
I assure you,
He would immediately. I told you it's not that bad.
Us? We're the bloody murder station. Haven't you heard? We're the bad guys.
That's not true. Jamrock is too big for one precinct. You're just understaffed, and everyone respects the 41st.
Thank you, Lieutenant. You're being kind. It is an understaffed station, and the district is too big, which is why we need to...
Get back to it. We left Torson and McLean to run the Sea Wing. It's not good. Mac the Torso Torson and Chester McLean. They're not fit to run a wing. Believe me.
They are damn iconic though, Torson and McLean.
Yeah, not like us. Two clinically depressed old men. Where's the contrast here? We're God. There are 4 wings, Harry. A, B, C, and D. We're in C. It's made of losers and clock punchers. You and I reconceptualize it as a type.
there's also a lot of outside help involved, not only me.
He's anything but a loser. Although he would like to be seen as one. It's cooler that way.
Ptolemy Price? He's the son of the old Price.
He's one of the most highly regarded men in the...
Somewhere under the curved roof of a former silk factory, shaped like a ladybird with 2 chimneys, Police Captain Ptolemy Price sits behind a heavy wooden desk. They speak of change, the city, the tension on the streets. They speak of the events of April and the blood on the street.
So he remembers that. Yes, there may have been...
Shooting up churches never is. I was out of town, to be clear.
Our enemies were hiding in a church, to the best of our information. That's it. I'm not talking about this anymore.
He means it. The RCM and its enemies, your clearance will not go up while you're within earshot of the Union headquarters.
Okay, it's not the bloody murder station. It's an old converted silk mill with green desk lamps and coffee corner.
Jamrock is the largest ghetto in Rivershoal. Faubourg, technically, but...
The press will blow over. Jamrock is lucky to have you, and it's often considered to be the greatest of the districts.
Thank you again, Lieutenant. Who is Lena?
She lives at 1113 Tabernacle Road in Jamrock. Remember?
Tabernacle? It's on the way over. Near where you live on Perdition.
Fine, if we're gonna drop you.
She and her husband were conducting the search for the Phasmid. It's their They should know as soon as possible. It would do you good to deliver some positive.
She is going to be over the moon.
Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. It will have to be good to cover all these. Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Revachol. I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready, infiltrate, investigate. Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of 2 captains with my doom-mongering. Work with Price? I'm flattered, but I don't know if...
Would fit in. Am crazy enough. Can take the stress. This truly came as a surprise to him. Not
Flattered? You're Lieutenant Kitsuragi.
I would have to tie things up in GRIH first. But, I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more...
And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant. Piles that we need to get back to.
I do like the sound of that.
He's really considering it.
Good.
Fuck it, let's go. Tron brought his
Under the noonday sky, the great district hums. A chessboard of wooden houses, 80,000 living souls, and chimney stacks. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory. Dawson? Yes. McLean? Yes. Hiddleston? No. Litmere? Yes. Dubois? Of course. Really? Nick Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's quite unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Ptolemy Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in his office, and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man. He'll pull through, and when he does, he'll side with Revachol. Understood. Gottlieb.
Wonderful. Then can we please just go back to...